So much, Clay. And here we go. Ah, okay, okay. Simmer down, simmer down. Thank you for tuning in. Psychic Frank's Mystery School is on the air. No phone service yet, so you guys can't call in, but I have a feeling it's going to happen. I'll explain why. Today is the Friday, the 16th of May 2025. I like 16. That's the tower card. Yeah, that's beautiful. I tell you, I've been getting, before I left the house today, once I'm all packed up and ready, all my books are in the bag, and I'm ready to check on out. And oh yeah, of course I have to kiss my parrot goodbye, and she loves to cuddle me, and yeah, she fits just perfectly in my hand. And then she loves when I kiss her on the crown. Yeah, I'm in love with a parrot. We've been together for what, almost 30 years. So anyway, so I was doing all that, and then I said, well, I still have some time because I don't like to get here too early. And I sat at my desk and picked a few cards, and then all day I done that. I did it not all day, but I did it when I first woke up. I pick a card. You could do one card as a reading, but several readings during the day about several things before I got here, and I keep on getting the death card. The death card, the death card. And I just, as I said, when I said goodbye to Gabby, and then I looked at the clock, I go, well, I still have some time. So sat at my desk, got into my non-local space, and I picked a card, and it was the death card. So let's just start off. This is an amazing book, uh, Your Tarot Guide by Melinda Lee Home. Some of the things I don't agree with her at all, and some of them are. She's eloquent. I'll give her that, and I give her a lot more than that. That sounded very condescending. I'll give her that. No, I mean because a lot of times for a psychic, at least I can only speak for myself. We get the picture, and the whole feeling and colors, and we speak in a frequency that's way beyond dimensions most people are dealing in, and it's hard and it's a challenge. I was almost going to say hard. It's a challenge to find words for it. Well, she does it really well. I have a whole stack. I used to have a whole bunch of astrology books, but now they're all on tarot because I get a little something, and there's a lot of people are waking up. What's going to go on pretty soon is Jupiter's going to enter Cancer, which hasn't happened for 12 years, and that's going to really usher in a lot more alternative healings, alternative medicines, wellness. Hopefully by then our mayor will get the cannabis is the best medicine. It's I thought when Mr. Laurie, Mayor Laurie, Daniel Laurie became mayor, I was I I'm like the Shirley Feeney of psychics, especially if I'm really involved. My balloon never lands. And I heard him, I heard him say he wasn't an insider. I believed him. Who knew he was going to be so deceitful? He couldn't be more of an insider than most of the insiders here in San Francisco because he's an insider to Sacramento. And, his wife played bongos at Newsom's wedding. I mean, they're close. So he could have mentioned that. There's a lot of things, and it's like once again, I believed he was going to undo all the mess that Breed left behind. Hurricane Breed, man, she just the destroyer. Took an axe and gave all these departments as many whacks as it would take to just keep them barely on life support. And now, as I said, completely threw the cannabis under the bus. As soon as 2015 passed, there was a whole big 2 years where we were all together, which was really like they were dividing and conquering, and we all got into the federal building, and London Breed had stacked it. It was like 12 years ago, whatever. Stacked it with her Richard Nixon belief that gateway drug, and I'm not going to get into all that, but it's totally harmless, relatively harmless. And there's so many strands of mouth, from sativa to indica. You can't say, well, it puts me to sleep. Well, start smoking indica and smoke sativa, you know. And as I said, there's it's just for your soul. It's a for your soul. I like Barbara Lee, Mayor Barbara Lee of Oakland. They put a camera in her face and they asked her something about cannabis, and she turned to the camera and very matter of fact said it shouldn't have been outlawed in the first place. And I would have added, you fool. You stupid fool. You stupid fool. So let's get to number 13. Let's get that out of the way, because my guys definitely want me to hip you guys to what that card is all about. Okay, the card 13 is the death card. Well, you can't see it, so I'll read it to you. By the way, I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'm so glad to be back in the studio, and they're making little improvements every time. Now, if you go to SF Commons TV schedule, you can see me on demand for 7:30 Saturday nights p.m. Channel 29. And check their schedule for all other shows, all the other producers that hang around here. We got this place, man. In the world the way it is now, let's do everything we can to deal with, to keep it straight, keep it right and improve it. Get more people to become part of SF Commons, Bayvac here. Death teaches us to let go of the fantasy of permanence and accept the temporal nature of life on Earth. In order for new life to emerge, space must be cleared by death. This is true in our ecosystem and in also our jobs, relationships, and homes. Mourn the loss of what was, then turn to welcome and celebrate what will soon be. While death is one of the most dreaded cards in the deck, for those unfamiliar with the tarot, it is truly a blessing in any reading. It is truly a blessing in any readings. Because when people gasp when I do the card out, sometimes, it does mean mortal death. And in that part, they probably know. I think they do know. I haven't had anybody that came to me and didn't tell me they weren't dying. There has been a couple, though. A couple people I saw. And this one guy, when I was, 30 years ago, 20-something years ago, when I was doing all these cannabis clubs, when I was training, my Reading for Roaches decade. And this one guy who worked at the cannabis club, he came up from L.A. and was part of the Champs thing. I think it was called Champs. I can't remember, so long ago. And they would let me. They had a space for me there, and I would do as many readings, and people would give me roaches for their readings and healings. So a lot of people was more generous, but that's another story. And yeah, so and he seemed nice enough, and he was friends with everybody, everybody who worked there knew that he was really into with the growers, and so I said, I usually don't have strangers come in my apartment, but I figured, he could come by. So he came to see me for a session, and when I tuned into him, I went, "Are you fooling around with heroin?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Wow, man, be careful, be very careful." I said, and, we did as much as we could do in one session. And the death, I don't know if the death card came up or not, but then that was like on a Friday. He was leaving on a Saturday. That Monday or Tuesday, I went to the church in Market where this place, the Cannabis Champs, I think was, or whatever it was called. And everybody was really mourned. They were all sad. And I went, "What happened?" And I jokingly said, "Who died?" And they mentioned his name. And he goes, "Yeah, heroin overdose in New York City." And I went, "Oh my God!" So, I'm sure I'm getting it right now. He's, I did my part. There was nothing I could have done to prevent that. Well, death is one of the most dreaded cards in the deck. For those unfamiliar with the tarot, it is truly a blessing in any reading. Well, the secret of death is you don't die. See, that's the whole secret of death. Death does not necessarily indicate an abrupt or total end. In most cases, there is something getting in the way of the evolution of a situation that needs to be released. Once this is done, the new blossoming can begin. Now, everybody said they want to get rid of Donald Trump. They want to get rid of nothing. Prima children, Buddhist, Tibetan Buddhist philosopher said, nothing goes away until it teaches us what it came in to teach us. Till we learn what it came in to teach us. Saturn, number one buzz in the astrological community now, and I guess psychics, a lot of psychics like myself. I don't consider myself an astrologer. I have too much respect for the good ones, even the mediocre ones. But I know enough. I know my way around. What's going on, and I use it in my own way to do what I do in my healings. And what's going on is this conjunction that hasn't happened in thousands and thousands of years, going on with Saturn and Neptune in Aries. Now, Neptune's already in Aries. I'll give you the, here it is right now. Neptune, as we speak today, as I speak today, Neptune, the higher consciousness, spirituality planet, nature, higher consciousness, altered states of consciousness, drug addiction, the film industry, all kinds of media like that. That's Neptune. And spirituality, psychedelia, there's. Have you been experienced, as Jimi Hendrix would say? Well, I have, as you can see. I used to tie my hair back, and then I said, what am I, a pony? And boy, I was just walking around this, San Francisco's really windy these days, and boy, having the wind fly in the breeze, get caught in the trees. And every time I see someone on TV, some guy on TV, I go, God, man, let your hair grow out, brother. You feel so much better, Anyway, that's my 2 cents there. You never have to cut it, it stops by itself, Okay, so what's going on is the Saturn, Neptune. Okay, planet is Saturn is the planet of everybody. Saturn again. I'm going to spend a few minutes here on hipping you on what's going on, because a lot of illusions are being shattered personally and collectively for all of us, and it's all about the planets helping there, So, okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, so I wouldn't have to flounder around here. Okay, so the planet of tests, trials, and tribulations. Saturn is the deity that put himself between mother. Yeah, Saturn is all about the irony. I wrote it on the top of the page now, so give me a second to get this page on irony going. Of course, there's this is a rare, here it is, it's right in front of my eyes now. Okay, rarity gives potency. This is the Saturn conjunction to Neptune. It's an extremely rare configuration. You'd have to go back thousands of years to find 0 degrees Aries where they both were exactly conjunct. Now that exact conjunction is going to happen in February of 2026. The United States of America will be in its 3-year, completely like dark to light from this year. We're in this, nobody throws confetti in the air saying, wow, my 11th year is here and I'm having the time of my life. It's a beautiful time, but enlightenment comes through pain. Carl Jung said you can't have any kind of wisdom doesn't come without emotional pain. The more emotional pain you got, the more powerful the enlightenment. Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, you chop wood, carry water. Life goes on, but well, you don't just sit around with a cup of hot water and think of, wow, that's what turns me on nowadays. Oh yeah, I'm so glad I just recently, a couple of years ago, got coffee out of my system. I went out with a bang though. I made sure I drank a lot of that blue bottle. Oh yeah, if you're gonna drink coffee, that's the buzz you want, but my liver really wasn't going to have any of it. So I had like a 2 month or so honeymoon with the blue bottle called. It's all over San Francisco. It's expensive, but very delicious. And man, uh, really good if you're into a caffeine plus. But I'm over that now. But I have the memory. What I get from the water now. I put my hands over the water, and then and just the miracle of where we are now, where I am now in this life, never mind the evolution of thousands of years of evolution to get where we are now, and where I have come in just this lifetime. From I'm not a walk-in. I see that's the thing. You'll still remain yourself. You'll just be like upgraded, upgrade, like in the movie The Pimp in Upgrade, Idiocracy. Uh, yeah, it's a great movie. Uh, yeah, my guy's not named Upgrade. I fooled around. He likes to fool with me every now and then, but my guide and I have cleared the air, and you know, and I'm closer to my guide than ever. I'll tell you, I used that Mars in Cancer. Mars is going to be in Cancer until the end of June, or yeah. So all this month and most of next month, Mars will still be in Leo, but the direct opposition to Pluto is still pretty much going on now. It's not exact, but we are feeling pretty soon now. Saturn on the 24th of this month, in May, is going to go into Aries, and then we're going to have. They won't be exactly conjunct, but of course Neptune moves rather slowly. It'll be still 1 degree. But Neptune in the United States of America's chart will be moving from our third house to our fourth house. And then she's going to go retrograde. I had the dates here. And, uh, and, and then by February of 2026, both Saturn and Neptune will be conjunct, zero exactly conjunct. And that is historic. I mean, astrologers like Pam Gregory, the British astrologer, and I believe everything she says because she does the. Oh yeah, I wanted to make sure. I just did something with my foot. I wanted to make sure I didn't unplug anything. If you're missing any of this, get to my YouTube channel, is Psychic Frank's Mystery School. Or you want to email me any information about yourself or anything you'd like insight on, psychicfrank11 at gmail.com. It's just fade away. Lovey-dovey, now fade away. I'm going to tell you how it's going to be. Okay, this is an extremely rare configuration, yeah. So, yeah, my immediate reaction before I realized got into my mindful state about well, this is really stymied. No, nothing's being stymied. The sextile between Saturn and Neptune and in conjunct Pluto is one side on conjuncting Pluto on one side and Uranus on the next side. So, I mean, there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, in the immortal words of Martha and the Vandellas. And why would you want to, Here again, the Saturn-Neptune conjunction is not what I'm looking for. Okay, Donald Trump is running too much yin and yang. Yeah, he's all out of shape. Okay. Okay, 1 second here. Now, because this is really important, I find this because I wrote it on the front of the top page, so it wouldn't have to do what I'm doing now. Because there's this guy named Christopher Ranstrom. Christopher with a Phor at the end, Christopher, Renstrom, and he's an astrologer who really explains a lot about what's going on with Saturn. And he says Saturn, the planet of time. Truth is the daughter of time, not of authorities. That was Francis Bacon, Sir Francis Bacon, Sir Francis Bacon, English philosopher and statesman, said that. What it means is, when enough time passes, the truth will emerge. Hindsight being 2020, I just threw that in. Truth is the daughter of time, not of authority. Authority is ephemeral. It doesn't last. It's just like our bodies. We just, hopefully 100 years, 120 years, 150 years. I'm going for the whole. Why not shoot the works? I'm in at this deep. I'll just stay as long as I can. I'm really into it now. Yeah, life is beautiful. Yeah, I was just watching this Pakistani student, this pro-Pakistan student from Colombia who was just released from jail, and how he on Democracy Now! I have his name written here, and I watched it, and then I saw it again on YouTube. I couldn't get enough of it, and he talked about Tibetan Buddhism got him through those horrible times. He said, mentally it wasn't as bad as he thought. Physically, yeah, it was the pits, but mentally he was allowed to keep his mind in his Buddha self. We're going to talk about that. Okay, so. And he talks here about tragic irony and comic irony. The comic, ironically comical, it's like where truth will come out, but not in the way that you intended it to be. The crooked truth, it's true. And then you have to adjust the way you've been revealed. It's been revealed. Yeah, that's what I'm so mad at the mayor for, He was deceitful. We know he's deceitful. Well, at least of us who are activists in San Francisco knew he was deceitful and pretty low, pretty self-centered. Yeah, I don't even want to get into him. He's a waste of my energy allowance. But I had a lot of hopes on this mayor, I didn't realize he was even more deceitful. So they said, we're just going to have, he's a pretty hopeless case. He's in too deep. But what's going to happen, though, he's got late Aquarius, so I have his date around here somewhere, and it's going to be a good 10 years before he starts feeling Pluto on his sun. So, it'll be hopefully when he's way out of office, but in the meantime, Christopher Ranstrom, Renstrom, WWW Astrology. See, because Saturn, the reason Saturn is so uptight and so full anxiety, because Renstrom tells about the whole myth, but it's sort of like Saturn was told by a fortune teller that he was going to marry his mother and kill his father and marry his mother. So it freaked him out so much he left to another country, changed his name, lived in another country under another name. And as it turned out, ironically, he had, on his way just dancing around on his horse, like I guess you would do in those times, he met this guy who, for some reason, wanted to kill him. This madman on a horse, and he ended up killing him. And then he goes back to, the castle and realizes that he was married to this woman who was the queen, and she was beautiful and young and fell in love with him. So and they got married. So then the story, he found out that even though he tried to avoid such a horrible fate as killing his father and marrying his mother, he ended up doing that. Of course, the universe set up this scenario. So, this is that's called tragic irony. And then there's karmic irony, where you avoid something. Actually, this is part of you avoid. This is what what's his name, Saturn did. And so I ended up killing his father. So then the karmic irony, he became his father. He became the father in Greek philosophy, Greek religion. He was named Kronos, the god, the father of time, the father of time. So as I said, he killed his father, but then he became the father of time, which means he's got to be the guy that says, no, it's not time for that yet. Everything I'm hearing on the computer with all these astrologers I love, not many are explaining that if you're lucky enough to live long, like I'll be 77 this November. That's long. I didn't realize it, but that's a long time, because I'm actually I don't know, early. I'm still in my head. I'm still a teenager, but the universe reminds me I'm not. And I'm much more careful now about not jumping on and off of things, and I understand now. The rubber band, as I see it, doesn't like snap back like it used to when you're young. But it comes back. You gotta help it a little. You gotta moisturize. Okay, so that's the thing now. If you're into astrology, and I tell you, this guy Renstrom, he went to Juilliard. He made it. He made it. And he could be. I could see him playing Captain Hook. I could see him as a real good character parts. He just captivates you. He knows so much, and the way he can express and help you understand this whole thing. So the thing is, Saturn in Aries, people avoiding something that actually makes it worse or leads you into the very thing that you're trying to get away from. They're character building. Saturn gives you everything that's happening now with Saturn and Neptune, and at least Saturn alone is character building tests, trials and tribulations. It's a good starting thing. It's not good at ending things. You draw on resources you have. Yeah, so this is the thing about Aries now. So all this Aries passion now, and then put that away now. So I like what that's all about. Yeah, so it's Neptune and Aries now. Renstrom says power, warning about Neptune. Power without spirit is fear. Renstrom. Okay, so thoughts of cell tissue. Thoughts of cell tissue. Okay, the Saturn Neptune potential is pure potential now. So I guess what now we're like clearing out all that's in the way of our consciousness now. We're not going to feed the animal that's this monster who thrives on making us squirm. Bullies, man. Who needs them? Well, we do. If we didn't have Donald Trump, please understand what I'm saying here. We'd have to invent him. There was a movie in the 50s, I think 60s, with Marlon Brando called The Ugly American. No, this is what makes that movie look like Santa Claus. No, this is definitely the ugly American now. This is not the America that, just Eisenhower even, This is like some Nixon. This started with Nixon. Eisenhower warned us about Nixon, and the industrial military complex, But anyway, I like what it says here. People get into the flow of their work. For instance, artists, scientists, and writers, but can seem preoccupied and not fully present when not at work, because their work is always percolating on a mental back burner. This creates an absent-mindedness professor phenomenon. The visionary person who constantly misplaces his or her eyeglasses or car keys and then becomes frustrated by the waste of time spent looking for them. It could be because they're so immersed in right brain activity, looking at the big picture, that they lose sight of left brain linear time. This predestined pedestrian details can't see what's under their nose. It's good for people like that to focus on connecting to and awakening to the left brain, and vice versa for those type A people who are overly rational, obsessive, punctilious, punctilious. Balancing both sides is the essence of the middle way. No, like you can't fear and hope cancel each other out, leaving you with dull indifference. And then there's something else. When I heard this guy talking about how it was only 2 months, or was it, a couple of weeks, but it's a long time when you're in a concentration camp situation where being, he said it wasn't physically that bad. Physically, he said it was. He didn't get into it, but he said it was mentally it wasn't as bad as he thought, because he did have time to meditate. And this is interesting. It says our bodies, like I was talking about, ephemeral. Everything is ephemeral. Like I say, Donald's going to die sometime. We're all going to die sometime, and all his, like I say, what he's I keep on losing that page, but it's like time wounds all heals. Time wounds all heals. That's a way of putting it. Uh, truth is the daughter of time, not of authorities. Donald's the current authority now. He's got the power right now at this magic moment. He might not have it tomorrow. Uh, it's kind of hard from my lips to God's ears, huh? But I think he's going to be around for a while yet because they've got a lot. It's happening now. People are really in the movie when the angry mob turns on and the sheriff, nobody could hold him back. That's what they did to Mussolini. His body, they took his body and hung it. It's on. You could get it off YouTube. There's actual video of what the Italians did when they realized Mussolini betrayed them. Our bodies have limited shelf lives. They are impermanent and changeable. This is not religious dogma. This is just how it is. Being ephemeral, our bodies are ultimately dissatisfying. Who can get lasting fulfillment from a mere body, from sensual experiences? See, the universe is beyond it's incomprehensible. It's never going to be. We can never understand it. Our human bodies just could not wrap our minds around what's going on. It's not meant for us. We get glimpses of it when we meditate, and it's all pure love. It's not sentimental bullshit. It's all love. We're so far away from where it's happening. I like this. I wrote it down here. We'll get right back to this. I dragged this book down here because I thought it was so important. I didn't. Yeah, as I said, before I come down here, I picked a few cards, and I kept on getting the death card. So I wanted to start the show off with that. Okay. Oh, here it is. Oh man, I didn't want to have to flounder around looking for this. Okay. Oh, cataracts. Cataracts are the third biggest cause of blindness. Religions and politics remain the first two. Oh, that's not it. Well, let's see. We'll give some. Oh, here it is. Why would I do? Okay. If you don't have, okay, well, anyway, as I said, one reason this guy says is that he believes that there's life in outer space, intelligent life in the universe, is because none of it has tried to connect with us. Yes, that was it. And then it says, worry is a misuse of imagination. Worry is a dark room where negatives develop. I like that one too. Put that away, and then get back to this one. It says, okay, you can't. Okay, so you can't. Our feelings are states of consciousness change all the time. In fact, we are all works in progress. Like it or not, we are never the same. Remember the Greek philosopher Heracles or whatever, who said you can't step into the same river twice. You can't step into the same river twice. Each of us is like a river whose waters are forever changing. Westerners often use quote-unquote mind as the primary definition for the self. I think, therefore I am. But Buddhism points out that you are not what you think. Like the weather, what you think is unpredictable and subject to change. Because the untrained mind is also essentially unreliable. Your thoughts and feelings lack permanence. This is the fact of conditioned, conventional existence. Moreover, processed foods for processed minds. Moreover, who and what you are when you are not thinking or in the brief moments in between thoughts, we do not intermittently cease to exist. On the other hand, your innate, ineffable, ineffable, ineffable Buddha nature is not impermanent. That's what that guy in prison was for a couple of months there, the pro-Pastilian Colombian student at Columbia College there. He said it was his meditation. He was focusing on his Buddhist nature, is not impermanent, is not subject. Everything around him was ephemeral. It was just something there, He wasn't going to waste any energy. He was going to focus on the Buddha, his Buddha nature. His inner light, this inner light is unbound, untrampled, Trammelled, untrammeled, and immaculate. This can be relied on. The infinite ground of being is always there for us. It can be relied on. Say that 1,000 times a day when you're hearing all these bombardments of gloom and doom. Get your kundalini straight and start focusing. Get your spine straight. Look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, get a hold of yourself, man. Get a hold of your inner light. It can be relied on. Say those words. The infinite ground of being is always there for us. And then make a gratitude list. Get off the pity pot. Victims don't heal. We need everybody to realize this is happening for us, not to us. This is a long time coming. And just not talking about the thousands of years of the yoga, kundaloga there, what's going on there. That people are really into that. I am too. But just in this lifetime, what happened at the end of the Eisenhower administration with the thief, he was a stupid thief too, was Richard Nixon. And his policies towards cannabis, I've said this time again. He was, I think it was John Dean or one of his buddies or Ellerman or whoever wrote it in a book, but his kids deny he said it, but it's in a book in his own handwriting when he was older. He was sitting in the Oval Office with Richard Nixon, and this this intern came in and handed him this big, thick manila envelope with. He pulled it out and he says, what's going on here? He said, oh, this is the cannabis report, the marijuana report. And he said, I watched him and he just fumed and then he finally threw it in the garbage because he didn't like what they were saying. It's relatively harmless. And then we get London Breed. Oh, God. It was like, she was right there. She was living, she bought that whole line and sinker, as many people did. I've been doing healings now for around, since the mid-80s, since I became conscious of who I was in 82. And I've had people die, friends of mine, women of color who came to see me for years and then knew I was a pothead, but, I wouldn't smoke, when I were around them because I respected their, and I could go. I don't have to chain smoke pot, but but then at the end when they one in particular I got very fond of. She lived over over the bay there, and she. Wouldn't smoke cannabis because she raised her kids, and got in real fights with them because they wanted to smoke. And I guess for some reason she'd rather just die and I couldn't. I said, man, you're going to give it she wouldn't hear of it. So I finally, didn't want her to die angry at me. And I respect free will. I think if you're a psychic or becoming in touch with your psychic abilities, that's the one I'm still learning. You gotta remind myself every time I see Donald Trump, I respect free will. He's making these choices. He is making these conscious choices. Okay, so on the other hand, you have your innate, ineffable Buddha nature, not impermanent. It is not subject to change. This is your eternal. We're on an endless journey through eternity. If you don't get it this lifetime, you'll get it in the next lifetime. Who knows? I'm working to not needing a body anymore. Because we'll get into that another time. The inner light is unbearable. It can be relied on. It can be depended on. It is perfect. The universe is mystical, man. It's totally mystical. It's psychedelic. It's perfectly. Jimi Hendrix knew that, man. It's perfect, inherently wise and warm, free and complete from the beginningless beginning. I got to read that again. It can be relied. This is your Buddha self that you have it right now in you. It's in your heart. Your heart is your ticket to the cosmos. That's why when you go to sleep every night, rub your heart, give thank you, thank you. Hearts don't attack us, but we do a number on them. Uh, this inner light is unbounded, untrammeled, and immaculate. It can be relied on. It can be depended upon. It's perfect, inherently wise and warm, free and complete from beginningless beginning. Actualizing that illuminous, formless, and intangible core is what awakening is all about. Thank you. Let's pick some cards for you all. Of course, I do have some time left here. And yeah, all this is happening with the United States of America's birth chart. Okay, so as I said, next year, if you're living right, America's going to be very painful. So for all of us Americans, we're all in an 11 year, so to speak, because we all live in America and hopefully call ourselves true like before Nixon. Before Nixon, right? Eisenhower was the end of it. See, in America's birth chart, Libra is our midheaven, our career house, our adult house. All this Aries energy now is 1 degree 3. I checked this morning. Neptune is actually a few minutes in its 1 degree, like 4 or 5. It's just freshly into our fourth house. It will go retrograde back into our third house again of self-expression. Once again, express your true self. People, it's like the flower. You can't keep a bud from, eventually that bud's just going to pop open. And that's what's happening now. People are waking up going, man, what? It's like no words. Yeah, when you first understand you've been deceived, yeah, there's anger. But then that anger, you move it up a few chakras and it turns into thanks. You're not condoning, of course, but you realize this is Saturn. Saturn says it's time. Neptune in Aries now. And another thing that's going on now, heads are going to roll with Allegor, the asteroid. Asteroids are real powerful now. Pam Brenner was talking about it. And she says, well, it doesn't mean off with physical heads, although it could be, but it is heads of 3 billionaires now. Bezos, Musk, and there's one more, I guess, Donald, and there's are running this country and the world, hence the world, and they've got more money. Their collected money is more than half of. I don't know the exact thing, but it's filthy. It's obscene. It's totally obscene. Okay, with that, well, I don't want to get. Okay, let's get on guides now. My major guide, who I think we're all connected. We're all connected. Everything's connected. When you throw something on the floor, you're spitting on your mother. The church, the earth is your mother, is your father. Okay, I'm cutting the cards now. One of my friends here in TV land need to know. Okay, how much time do we have here? Yeah, we have plenty of time. I'm going to do the bigger spread. Okay, here we go. Oh, okay, 1, 2, 3. Oh boy, okay. I'm getting the frequencies mixed up here. Okay, let's get it straight now. Okay. Today is the 16th day of Friday, the 16th of May, 2020. Okay, let's do the 6 cards here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, here's where we are now. We're growing up. People are growing up now, I think they're finally, realizing we're children of God, but now we're adults of God now. It's time to take some responsibility for everything that happened since the Industrial Revolution and before that. It what is it, 500 and something years the last time Pluto was in Aquarius. That was the French Revolution. Pam Gregory went chronologically back. So just with Pluto and Aquarius alone now, it's now bottom up. So even though this is, we didn't get it yet, until we get it, Donald Trump's going to be around. But once that hundredth, the whole thing about the hundredth monkey, one monkey sees another monkey watch his sweet potato before he eats it, and then the second one does that, and then all of a sudden the hundredth monkey does it, and then monkeys on Australia and every zoo, everybody starts doing the same thing. It's sort of like this herd consciousness, I guess it's called. I don't know, but it's like enough people start realizing, like this is not a platform. Earth is not a platform for human beings to waste their energies trying to figure out what isn't meant. It's an insult. Call yourself whatever religion, but it's an insult to, not respect life's mystery, sweet mystery of life. And all the money NASA's, trying to control something it's like ridiculous. And there's many people now, but we've got generations of kids now who dream about living life on outside of Mother Earth. What is it? You don't miss your water till your wells run dry. This is what we're all fighting now, protecting what's ours. This is a beautiful card, the Seven of Wands. What does this woman say about it? Because I'm getting all these feelings now about fire. Wands are fire. It says this is real true for all of us now, because many of you who are watching this show are pretty mystical, pretty much mystics in training. Your spells and rituals gain potency. Your art reaches new heights. You barely get winded on a mountain hike. Signs are all around you that your elemental fire burns brighter than ever. Believe them and set out to see how powerful you have become. Seek out situations and projects that test your limits. Staying within your comfort zone will not help you see what you are capable of. Our fearness is all about this. The fear is about the sadness. That it's not ephemeral. The sadness is going to be here. No, there's a gift now. This card always means the Three of Cups will come around soon. This is once again realize. I'm trying to tell you the message I'm getting from this is. Yeah, it's a sad time now. There's just no two ways about it. It's as we speak now, Gaza, there's like I think 57 dead now, children. The genocide going on there is they're stopping all food. And Donald Trump wants to make it a resort. He's the queen of the bubble people. I mean, he's living in. It's insane. It's insane that this isn't on every. Anyway, I gotta let it go. As I said, I want to finish my hour here, but I'm saying we'll see what else we get now. Okay, this is what we're fearing now. Gandhi said it's fear. It's all about fear. We think it's hate, but no, it's fear. Sadness is I don't know. Sadness is not a bad thing. So, if you can't feel sadness, you can't feel happiness. Imagine if you never felt sadness, you'd get bored with. I think that's why we're here on Earth, to appreciate happiness and find it and nurture it and realize happiness doesn't. You can't make happiness happen. You can't buy happiness. Can't you see that? You think Donald Trump's happy? Let's think about that. Okay, this is what's going on for us now. We're being forced to spend a lot of time alone and face our own doom. We have to face it, man. We're living on borrowed time. We got this monster now, this Frankenstein. When I first started doing shows when they had a phone up on Portrayal Hill, and this guy called me. I'll never forget the call, and he said, "Psychic Frank, is Donald Trump the Antichrist?" And I burst out laughing because being a New Yorker, and he was like a three-con Monte crew, con man, only in the real estate game. I started laughing. I go, I couldn't believe it, because I'm so personally attached to, America and love it so much and love life on this planet that but now I believe something happened. I think what happens is the souls check out and they get taken in by evil spirits. I think that's probably what happened here. This is what's going on for us. This is what's going on against us now. We can't do anything right now. See, and that's really hurting us. On the outer plane, it's time to do the inner stuff, our heart now. The mind's the caboose. The mind will be the last one. Like Louise says in her book, You Could Heal Your Life. She says, do this exercise. What does she say? Do this exercise. What does she say here in the very beginning? Blah, blah, blah. At some points of my philosophy, this is Louise Hay book, You Could Heal Your Life. We are each responsible for all our experiences. Every thought we think is creating our future. Thoughts are cell tissue. Be mindful 24/7, every second. Be approving of yourself. The point of power is always in the present moment. Everyone suffers from self-hatred and guilt. The bottom line for everyone is I'm not good enough, quote unquote. It's only a thought, and thoughts can be changed. I love that. That's my favorite one. We create every so-called illness in our body. Resentment, criticism, and guilt are the most dangerous patterns. Releasing resentment will dissolve even cancer. Releasing resentment will resolve even cancer. We must release the past and forgive everyone. We must be willing to begin to learn to love ourselves. For me, it was I was in my 30s when I started loving myself. That's when I sobered up. Self-approval and self-acceptance in the now are the keys to positive changes. When we really love ourselves, everything in our life works. That's why these people on the street that they're using these Gestapo things in San Francisco now to force them into treatment. That's just putting. Uh-oh. Oh, that's just a bandage, putting a bandage on. The cause is still there. We got to listen to the cannabis harm reduction cannabis. Get those people back in City Hall. Get those people back in City Hall. In the federal building. Let's get those doctors who really got, this guy's not even in general hospital anymore. He was so distraught with being thrown under the bus because we know unless it's a spiritual experience, and to get that spiritual experience for many of cannabis is, as I said, they found I'm not owning it, but they found in the X-ray in the back of my eyeballs, back of macrodegenerative disease, which there's no cure for. You go blind, but in my case, they tell me don't quit using your vape pen, your cannabis vape pen, because you will go blind. There's a good chance you'll go blind. Don't. And these are not only one doctor. They got on the computer and because. I told that story. I don't want to hear it anymore. Okay, so let me see anything else. One or two card reading for everyone involved. Next time I come, I have a towel because this table's too slippery. Okay, anything else I need to share with my friends? Yeah, don't let your mind get hijacked. Hijack your love. Remember that? Hijack your love. Herbie Mann, hijack. Your mind gets hijacked. If you want to watch a little TV, every ad is the pharmaceutical, direct-to-consumer pharmaceuticals, and the side effects. How do people get out of medical school now? That every doctor, I insurance and my insurance people, Blue Cross or something, they're saying to me, they're giving me, are you seeing a doctor now? Well, do you know one? Is there a doctor around that I could see? I won't see anyone who's not a vegan. I'd like them to respect their psychics on the planet. I'd like them to someone who at least knows there's psychic healers around. There's alternative healings. Yeah, I don't want some brainwashed pimp for the pharmaceutical industry who has a doctor who sold their soul to the pharmaceutical companies to live this lush life. doctors in other countries live lives, pretty well. They got a nice house, maybe one, country house. But no, America's got to have firehouses all over the world now. This San Francisco now is becoming, according to Gavin Newsom now, he's appalled. When he was mayor, he would never even sit in the same room with the cannabis people. None of us were homeless, but we were pro cannabis. When we came up, he did an about face and walked out the room. The few times he even showed up, the once a month at City Hall, it's on, camera. So the one card we got to talk to you about now is, we've taken a licking, but the battle's over now. This is a 9-year university. We'll end it with that, and then. And work with the angels now. Work with the angels. And what the Nine of Wands is all about is use that fire. Use that fire of creativity now to burn away all that needs to be burned. You have become a master, as I said, a true master. You have become a master of your craft, and like all true masters, you continually stretch the limit of what is possible in your medium. Keep experimenting to keep your work vital and your brain elastic. Your work contributes to a larger body of knowledge and experience. Your magical craft and intuitive abilities have also developed to a high level. No matter how skillful you are, always remember you are a human being interpreting the message you receive and petitioning the universe and the elements to achieve results. There are many things that we can never know or experience while incarnated on this plane. So, spread it around. NASA's theories have been keeping the food out of it's racist. The day that those men landed on the moon, there was a Woodstock in Harlem, and all of Motown was against NASA. Well, what happened? The bling. They went into the bling. They all got seduced by Hollywood. What is it, Gail, Oprah's friend Gail, and all these women went up to the, and I said, oh, crap. I lost all respect for Gail. Cheap thrills are not cheap. Every time you see on the news, they're applauding the holes they're making in our ozone layer, and now it's recreational. God help us. God help us. God is helping us. That's what my guides just told me. Anything else you guys need to know? We're going to be victorious now. Yes, we will be victory. It's going to be soon. It's not going to be that later. As I said, as soon as we've got to make it through, because once again, Saturn and Neptune will back up to the anorexic number 29 Pisces, and then go back into Pisces, and this time be into Aries, and be exactly conjunct come the end of February 2026. Until then, now we got to get rid of all of these negative illusions that have had authority over us for so long. Work with our angels now. Purify your diet. Pure, as I said. Processed foods for processed minds. I was thinking the other day, just this morning, I was in the kitchen whipping up some porridge for my parent and I was thinking of how my life has changed. I don't even, my diet, my everything, that's why I thought I had become a walk-in. After I left my body in 82 and I went, and I realized, I started examining what happened to me when I left my body. I'm just now understanding it. And that was in 82, September 19th, 1982. Use the dream state. Use the dream state. You won't go to bed, hopefully, with your shoes and socks on. Release the day. Use your throat chakra. Surround yourself with the love and light of the Holy Spirit. And you can't go wrong. And, we have another minute here. I want to, there's a lot of these things now going on with our skin, eczema, the things about, the painful, what is it, these people have this thing going on with their skin. And I was reading, skin protects our individuality. It's a sense organ. Just simply tell people, if you've got anybody in your life suffering from eczema or anything like that, it's safe to be me. Why your mother can talk to their kids? Skin problems, anxiety. Saturn brings anxiety. So for the next 2.5 years, there will be anxiety. Saturn, because he killed his father and then ironically became the father now of time, there's a lot of anxiety comes with that. So yeah, there is fear, anxiety. Old Barry Guck, I'm not being, I am being threatened. Skin problems. So if you've got those skin things they're advertising on, you're being threatened. I lovingly protect myself with thoughts of joy and peace. The past is forgiven and forgotten. I am free in this moment. Doesn't mean you're condoning the past. You're forgetting it. You're forgiving it. You're not forgot. It's forgotten. They're dead to me. They're no longer around. You're not alone. You are not alone. Guides are just jumping at the bit to help you. All you have to do is don't be afraid. These trans channelers now, they're all talking like. I can commune with so many souls, but I never stop talking the way I'm talking now. But these normal people, when they get on when they get on these videos who are trans channelers and they start channeling, they start talking like they put you in a tiger cage. At any minute, one of these tigers and they're talking like this very calmly because they do not want to upset the. And it's like, wow, the universe hasn't have a frontal lobotomy. It's been that way for decades. These people are, I don't know who these people are channeling, but it's just amusing to me. It's amusing to me. I made it very clear to my guys I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to, speak in tongues. Not that, okay, I'm going to get over my head here. Okay, here's the overlay before I hang up. Don't hang up. Oh, no. Don't you do it. Okay, Psychic Frank's Mystery School is my YouTube channel. As I said, they have a new web page on the SF Commons TV schedule. Go to Saturday, 7:30 p.m., channel 29, on demand, anytime now. And if you want to send me an email, psychicfrank11@gmail.com. Any questions? You want me to pick a card for you? Give me your birthday, and I'll be glad to help you out. And just wake up teachable and listen to your heart. You can't go wrong. I love you. Namaste. I'll be back in a couple of weeks. I'm here the first and the third Fridays at 1 p.m. on 9th Street here. Thanks to everybody. I love you. No matter what shape you're in or what you're going through, I know I know your Buddha self. Can get through this. Hopefully in this lifetime. Because this is so impotent now. This rarity is potency. Use this Saturn-Neptune. Get on computer and find out as much you can about the Saturn-Neptune conjunction. Simple as that. There's many astrologers who are probably more expressive than I am to get that message across about how benevolent this is. It's not a bad thing. Yeah, it can be, as I said, a lot of anxiety comes with it. So that's where the meditation comes in. I love you. Oh boy, here we go. I knew this was going to happen. Oh. Well, I'm going to ask for help here. I can't. Oh, okay, there we go. Here, I got it. Oh, it was this chord right here. I get it. Everybody, I love you. Bye.